Hi, I'm Mark Johns. I started my published software career at 14 with Mr. Bagelbud for the Macintosh, distributed through the MIT Infomac HyperArchive. It was popular. It went viral on the Mac, as viral as you could be in 1997 on the classic Macintosh operating system, and it was covered in all the Mac enthusiast magazines, including a couple from Japan, which they kindly sent to me. And funnily, somebody uploaded Mr. Bagelbud to YouTube in 2023, and a lot of people seem to reminisce about it. My first job was at the UIUC Electrical Engineering Department. That's the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. For the ECE department, I was writing C code for the professor who taught me and my close friends how to program in C when we were very young. And actually, those friends and I had a shareware company making Mac games called Sloppy Disk Software that we ran for about 10 years to pretty good success. The next year at 16, I worked for NCSA, the National Center for Supercomputing Applications, where the first graphical web browser, Mosaic, was developed by Mark Andreessen and others. And I worked on the Data to Knowledge project, an early precursor to the machine learning and neural network AI technology that we have today. In college, I interned at Apple on iPod games as a software engineer. They videotaped me as a character, Kurt, for their Texas Hold'em poker game. The artist thought that 22-year-old me looked a little like Kurt Cobain because I had long blonde hair and I was very skinny. My likeness still ships in Texas Hold'em for iPhones today from Apple 20 years later, my 2006 likeness. Still alive, Kurt is still around in Texas Hold'em from Apple. After college, I founded Doomlaser and helped build Tap Tap Revenge, the very first viral iOS app in the newly launched App Store. It was played by over 15 million people at a time when Apple had only sold around 30 million-ish iPhones. Steve Jobs himself played it at an iPhone keynote in 2010, and then shortly afterwards, Disney bought our startup Tapulous that made Tap Tap Revenge and all its spin-offs. I then worked with indie developer legend Cactus to make Hot Throttle for Adult Swim, a game about men who pretend they are cars very sincerely and race in the streets nearly naked, and they implant actual car parts into their bodies to make them more like cars. Adult Swim really liked it. They made TV ads for it. It was fun. My next big project was to build the Hunger Games Girl on Fire, the official game for the first Hunger Games movie, with a small team of indie developers, including Adam Saltzman, who had started the Endless Runner boom with Cannabolt, and Danny Baranowski, who made music for Super Meat Boy, The Binding of Isaac, and Cannabolt itself, and many others. The Hunger Games Girl on Fire was played by over 10 million people within days after its launch, the day before the first Hunger Games movie went live in theaters. It was distributed wide, and most of the people who played it were young women, adolescent women, who were very excited about Suzanne Collins' excellent first Hunger Games novel being turned into a movie with the then unknown. None of us knew who Jennifer Lawrence was, but everyone knew who she was after that movie launched. While all this was going on, Doomlaser wrote and released its own slate of original indie games, like Space Barnacle, Standard Bits, Shit Game, Braindead, and Future Life. In early 2023, after the launch of ChatGPT, I became very interested in applications of the then new large language model technology, the LLMs. I hooked the OpenAI API into a first-person shooter we were developing at Doomlaser, and that work was so promising, I started building an original product around LLM integration at the application level. That new product became Dream Factory, a visualization, script writing, and performance suite aimed at helping screenwriters, directors, and production companies work with original material at early stages, like pre-visit. You can work on your scripts, and you can get your scripts actually read through current generation text-to-speech using voice cloning. You could voice clone Jennifer Lawrence from her other movies and have your characters read your script in her voice, in a simulation of her voice anyway. AI assistance in Dream Factory is baked in, but it's optional. You can make use of it as much or as little as you want to. And that experience working with the OpenAI API, and now there's the Gemini API and others, caused me to become very excited about the possibilities of local LLMs like Alibaba's Qwen 3 that can provide features similar to modern versions of ChatGPT that run entirely on a user's laptop or phone. So that means screenwriters are not sending their scripts across the internet to OpenAI or Google Gemini or Claude from Anthropic. It's everything is being done on their own laptops or phones. And I actually believe that local LLMs are going to be very important moving forward as they are so close in capability to the frontier AI labs from the United States. And outside of Meta with Llama, none of the frontier US labs are providing local LLMs. It's all being done by the Chinese labs. And the Chinese labs are innovating in this area. They're making architectural improvements. They're thinking, like Quen 3 from an Alibaba, their thinking pass is a lot more interesting than the way the thinking passes work on the latest OpenAI and Google Gemini models from DeepMind. So I actually think that these local LLMs, which the Chinese labs are providing for free, that can run on people's own computers or phones without having to talk to the cloud, may represent an innovator's dilemma situation for the frontier labs in the United States. They're not competing here, and the Chinese labs with the local solutions are only a few months behind the state of the art in the United States, and everybody's getting better and better. So it may be an innovator's dilemma situation, sort of like the US labs being akin to IBM in the 70s, still offering mainframes and mini computers when Apple and Commodore were offering everything that could run at home good enough on Apple IIs and Commodore 64s. But it remains to be seen how everything will play out. AI is moving so fast. I'm very excited to meet some of you guys at this conference at the Bellagio this spring. Thanks a lot.